Well, coming up on First at 5, Alachua County's new sheriff has been on the job for a month and is tackling the department's toughest challenge. We'll hear how he's working to create more deputies for their force.
Plus, UF students gathered right outside of UF campus yesterday in support of Palestine. Also Tuesday, the state university system set the first U.S. ban of a pro-Palestinian student group.
And a look at a high-speed chase in Ocala will show you how some bystanders help police take down the suspect.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Good evening, this is First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Jacob Sedesse.
And I'm Rafael de los Santos. Thanks for joining us.
Big changes are coming to Alachua County law enforcement now that there's a new sheriff in town.
Sheriff Emery Gainey was recently appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. WUFT's Natasha Holt is live at the ACSO headquarters, and Natasha, Sheriff Gainey is working to fill the job vacancies he inherited.
Sheriff Gainey told me that when he took office a little more than a month ago, more than 26% of the agency's jobs were unfilled. Those vacancies took an immense toll on the morale of the employees who had to work overtime and long shifts to fill the deficit. When he began at the agency, Sheriff Gainey said he was gravely concerned to find 248 of the agency's 900 jobs were unfilled. He attributes that to leadership issues from the previous administration. Employees were forced to work overtime to keep Alachua County citizens and inmates safe. But since taking office, they've hired almost 36 employees to fill the vacancies. But he says it will take much longer to get back to where they need to be.
I also recognize that we need to give them relief. They need to spend time with their families, with their friends, with themselves, doing fun things. So we're going to continue to work diligently to hire more staff so that they can have that relief.
As new employees join the force, he said that the atmosphere in the agency is improving. Sheriff Gainey is running for election in 2024. He said that the 15 months left in the term is not enough time to fix all the problems left in the agency. Natasha Holt, WUFT News.
Thanks, Natasha. Students gathered in support and opposition of Israel at a walkout held on UF's campus. WUFT's Charlize Ramos attended the event where some people had demands for UF's president.
Yes, many gathered demanding the University of Florida and other institutions divest from Israel and condemn the genocide of Palestinians. Others see it differently.
Palestine will be free!
With their flags and voices raised, over 150 people gathered to protest in support of Palestine.
Palestinian organizations across Florida campuses are being threatened to be shut down by the chancellor.
Students, families, and members of the Gainesville community called for an immediate end to Israel's siege on Gaza and for UF President Ben Sasse to condemn the genocide of Palestinians.
I walked here today thinking, if this is the last opportunity I have to advocate for my people and for peace, then I'm absolutely going to do it today.
The state university system plans to crack down on campus protests that are not protected by First Amendment rights. Chancellor Ray Rodriguez communicated the message stating, based on the national SJP's support of terrorism, in consultation with Governor Ron DeSantis, the student chapters must be deactivated.
Palestine! Long live Palestine! Free Palestine!
This did not stop people from coming out to show their passion for the cause. Students in opposition felt the protest was inherently anti-Semitic.
I don't think this is a productive way of discourse, and I think all it's doing is stoking the flames, adding hate to our campus, making campus feel less safe for Jewish students.
Students in support feel that there is a lack of understanding on the Palestinian side.
Don't be quick to condemn, be quick to comprehend, be quick to understand what is going on, because there's enough people condemning. There's not enough people just standing out there, just standing with Palestine, and it needs to stop. People are dying, and I don't want to say dying, people are being killed.
UF administration has not reached out to UF's SJP chapter regarding it being banned on campus. We will continue to give you updates on this issue. Live in the studio, Charlize Ramos, WUFT News.
Thanks, Charlize. Switching over to weather, we're experiencing a wave of calm, and Rafael, that seems to be the trend this fall.
WUFT's Daniella Rudolph has a special guest here with her who is shaking things up. Daniella?
Thanks, gentlemen. So my special guest is actually working on his forecast. He'll be here just in time for full weather, so definitely stay with me. But if you're here with me in Gainesville, taking a look at that live cam right now, temperature's at 80 degrees, and this is not going to be producing any weather. They're just some fair weather clouds. We'll have a sprinkle just a little later. I'll have that in a second. But those temperatures in the low 80s across the board, high 70s Lake City and Live Oak and St. Augustine. Now there is that radar. We have a little bit of spot showers along the coast making their way to Gainesville for your evening, but it's not really going to impact us if you are headed out for some pre-spooky celebrations. Halloween is in the air at 75 degrees. That spooky spot shower that we saw just a second ago, we're going to be having some cool witching hours at 65 degrees. Now taking a look ahead, we have that high pressure system in the Carolinas, which I'll have an explanation for what it's going to do to North Central Florida in just a second. The trick or treat forecast, and a big change is on the way, so definitely stay with me for weather.
Thanks, Daniella. Well, a high-speed chase in Ocala ended with the arrest of a man officials call a career criminal. I've got a play-by-play of all the action and how some good-hearted citizens made it all happen. Ocala drivers may have been slowed by traffic, but the story behind it was high speed indeed.
He is southbound 441.
But that all came to a slamming halt.
He's now, he just crashed at 40 and Pine.
Inside a vehicle flagged as stolen from a woman in the Villages. The driver tried to run away from the scene, but the driver next to him says he felt the call to spring into action.
I went around the side of the truck where he couldn't see me, like he was coming that way, and I kind of addressed him there in between the wall and the truck, and I said, "You're not going anywhere."
But it doesn't end there.
He's right there. He's taking that car. He's taking the car.
His plans were foiled yet again. Another citizen chased the suspect into the car, getting him back on his feet. That citizen then followed and cornered the suspect, pinning him against a wall where officers could put him in cuffs. Officers identified the man as 39-year-old Michael Prouty, who has a criminal record dating back to 2000 with 13 felony counts. His charges in Sumter County include home invasion, battery of a person over 65, and grand theft of a vehicle. Well, Sumter County Sheriff's officials worked in collaboration with Ocala Police, and OPD Chief Mike Balkin says he wants those citizens to know they're hiring.
New technology is making Alachua County construction zones safer and more efficient. Automated flaggers are now used to direct stop-and-go traffic when the road switches to a single lane. This technology will replace people using handheld flags. On-site road maintenance technicians monitor traffic and control the gates with video cameras. Alachua County Public Works has installed 2 new flaggers on Country Road 235, where they will be used for the next several weeks.
We purchased 4 flaggers this year at a cost of $56,000, so about $14,000 a unit. They'll quickly pay for themselves because there's a lot less personnel needed to operate the zone.
The county's Public Works Department plans to continue using flaggers as a cost-effective way to control traffic.
Well, a transgender singer-songwriter set to receive a key to the city tomorrow. Laura Jane Grace founded punk rock band Against Me and helped raise Gainesville's profile internationally as a music destination. Mayor Harvey Ward will declare October 27th Laura Jane Grace Day. She'll be presented with the honor in a ceremony at 5 p.m. at Gainesville City Hall. This all comes ahead of the famed punk music festival called Fest, which takes place this weekend. She's set to be a part of that with a performance at Vivid Music Hall this Sunday at 11 p.m.
Marion County Utilities issued a precautionary boil water notice for customers within the Fort King Forest, High Cliff, Sleepy Hollow, Delcrest, Bluefields, and Regency Estates communities due to a temporary loss of pressure. Customers in Marion County should bring water intended for consumption to a rapid boil for at least 1 minute until this precautionary notice is lifted. As an alternative, bottled water may be used for these purposes, which include drinking, cooking, and brushing teeth. Water used for laundry, bathing, and/or showering does not need to be boiled. For more information, Marion County Utilities is urging customers to contact their customer service line at 352-307-6000. Coming up next, with Halloween right around the corner, the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles is making safety its goal. What tips and tricks they are giving to keep people safe.
And police are still searching for the suspect of a mass shooting in Maine yesterday that left 18 people dead. We've got details on how many people were injured and who the suspect is coming up on First at 5.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
A large manhunt is underway for a gunman who opened fire at a Lewiston, Maine bar and bowling alley last night. 18 people were injured were killed, and as many as 13 are injured. 40-year-old Robert Card is being named as the suspect in connection with the shootings. Siobhan McGurl has the latest.
The shooting started last night just before 7 at a bowling alley, then about 10 minutes later at a bar nearby. An arrest warrant has been issued for Card, charging him with 8 counts of murder. State police say that will likely increase to 18, but is only at 8 because 10 people still need to be identified. Card has approximately 20 years of military experience and was a trained firearms instructor. Card was also recently reported mental health issues, to include hearing voices and threats to shoot up the National Guard base in Saco, Maine. Officials say he was reported to have been committed to a mental health facility for 2 weeks this summer and then released. Maine's governor says she spoke to President Biden and flags have been lowered to half staff here in Maine and across the country. For NBC News in Lewiston, Maine, I'm Siobhan McGurl.
Well, switching gears, spooky vibes are taking over some neighborhoods, and parents are being reminded of safety as little ones get ready to celebrate Halloween. Florida Highway Patrol officials say it's up to parents and drivers to be careful and aware so everyone can have a safe evening. Officials are advising drivers to stay alert, slow down, and be cautious. There may be more kids on the road, so it's important to really pay attention and give them time to cross the street. Officials advise parents to make their kids wear light-colored costumes so they're seen, wear short enough costumes so they don't fall, make ear and eye holes if necessary, and make eye contact with drivers before crossing the road.
Ocala police are warning of a scam. According to a Facebook post, they say a caller is posing as one of their officers. In a detailed description of one case, Ocala police say a scammer told someone they missed jury duty and now have a warrant for their arrest. The scammer then told the person they had to pay $2,000 to clear it. They were told to go to the CVS and buy a prepaid card. Authorities say you should not send money, buy gift cards, or give personal information over the phone. If you think you are being scammed, you are encouraged to contact police.
So a big welcome to our very special guest right here in WUFT studios, Mr. Skeleton. Thank you for joining us. So he wanted you guys to see that we do have this spooky spot shower around that 12 a.m. hour. Not too frightful, not going to impact those Thursday evening plans. Now, Halloween, is it going to be filled with tricks or treats? We'll have that for you straight after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Looking at that live cam over Ocala, we do see some blue skies. However, this is not really going to be producing any weather as of right now. We do have a little bit of a spot shower later on here in Gainesville, but it's not going to be doing anything to worry us. Now, we are supposed to be having some cool temperatures, but of course the ghosts are going to be messing with my system today. So those temperatures are only going to be dropping to around the 60s tonight. So if you're headed out for some pre-Halloween celebrations, it's not really going to be impacting you. Take a look at that muggy meter. We have Sweaty Freddy here in studio today, and he is really going to be struggling until Sunday when it tips down a little bit more to being pleasant, and it's going to stay like that for your Halloween celebration. I'll have that in just a second, but if you're staying with me here in Gainesville for your planner tomorrow, the day is starting out partly cloudy and cool at 60, and it's going to be peaking at 84 degrees. Now, if you're headed out to Jacksonville, getting ready to go to the game because they're going to be taking on the Bulldogs, I'll have that also in just a second. We are going to be having a little bit of fog, so do keep that in mind if you are traveling really early in the morning. And there we have that football forecast in Jacksonville at 78 degrees for your dry, toasty tailgate. We're bringing that heat at 83 degrees for kickoff. And then, of course, we have some warm celebrations at 76 degrees, of course, tracking the tropics. Although things are calming down right now, we do still have this post-tropical Cyclone Tammy. It may impact Bermuda, but it's not going to really be doing anything to us here in the United States, so we don't really have anything to worry about. Now, of course, Halloween. Thank you, Mr. Skeleton, for this beautiful forecast. It's going to be a beautiful day at 78 degrees. You have a toasty trick or treat at 81, and it's not really going to be sending too many shivers down your spine at 69 degrees for that post-Halloween celebration. Now, our 7-day outlook, there we have Mr. Skeleton making another appearance for the rest of your week, peaking on Sunday at 87 degrees. And then look at that big drop, you guys, on Wednesday down to 74 for your high. We're going to be seeing those lows in the morning in the 50s and 60s. So it's going to go back to feeling a lot more like fall, just in time for spooky season to be finished.
Gator soccer is back at home tonight as they take on South Carolina. WUFT's Jack Alperstein will be live from Disney Field with more details on how the team is preparing heading into tonight. All that and more in sports coming up after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Reighan Sheppard. Tonight is senior night for Gator soccer, and with the senior group having one last go, they will be looking to use that momentum to propel them towards a win. WUFT's Jack Alperstein is live at Disney Field with more insight into tonight's matchup.
Thanks, Reighan. Tonight is senior night for the Gators soccer team, but it is also their final regular season game. As they welcome 13th ranked South Carolina, a win here could send the Gators tournament bound. This is a must win if the Gators hope to keep their tournament dreams alive. As they prepare for this one, Florida is knocking on the door of the SEC tournament, sitting in 12th place with 9 points. The Tennessee Volunteers sit in 11th, also with 9 points, but hold the tiebreaker over the Gators. With a win tonight, Florida bolsters its chances to climb into the top 10 and make the tournament. Kickoff is set for tonight at 7 p.m. Live from the Diz, I'm Jack Alperstein, WUFT News.
Things are definitely starting to heat up in high school football as the playoffs are right around the corner. Tonight, PK Yonge takes on Trinity Catholic on the road in a matchup that, with a win, could put them directly into the playoffs. Head coach Willie Jackson Jr. said their goal is to just keep winning.
I think the message is to them that we have to win in order to get in, to keep the season going past next week. And so it's a big message. So we're concentrating. We're hoping that we have their attention, and we're going to put the best game plan that we can in order to try to win a game.
Tonight, the Blue Wave head to Ocala as they take on Trinity Catholic at 7 p.m. Now, if you're a real Florida fan, you know that Halloween weekend means it's Florida-Georgia time. As we anticipate the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, let's take a look at what this matchup really means, because the SEC East is in a pretty tight race. Georgia, Missouri, and Florida all currently sit in the top 3 spots of the SEC East. With there only being 4 weeks left of regular season play, everything is at stake. As all 3 teams are set to play each other over the next 3 weeks, their sights are set on Atlanta. The SEC Championship will take place on December 2nd, and you can bet your money that all 3 teams will be fighting for a spot. The Gators' first test is Saturday at 3:30 p.m. as they take on the Bulldogs at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. And we will be providing live coverage throughout the weekend here at WUFT. So here's a look at what we have coming up. On Friday, WUFT reporters will be live from TIAA Bank Field providing coverage along with the baseball exhibition game. There will also be a deep dive into the history of this fierce Southeastern Conference rivalry. Finally, coverage will conclude with a recap of the game on Monday. High school volleyball regional championships are underway and teams came to play, okay? The Gainesville High School Hurricanes mopped the floor with the Denver Raiders in a 3-set sweep. Senior Charlotte Gravely was dominant over the net, putting up powerful kills. Other seniors Mimi Davis and Brooklyn Taylor also got into a rhythm, contributing with dynamic serves and assists. The Hurricanes truly were an immovable force as they closed the first round of regional competition. GHS will face Childs in the regional semifinals on Saturday in Tallahassee. The regular season for high school football is coming to a close, and that means the postseason is almost upon us. Several local schools are looking to make a splash and bring home a state title. WUFT's Alexis Vivanco is calling attention to the teams most suited for playoffs.
The high school playoff picture is shaping up for several of our local programs, and the WFT Sports is highlighting the heavy hitters on the gridiron as they prepare for postseason play. First up is the Bradford County Tornadoes. The Tornadoes are undefeated and led by quarterback Dejon Shanks. The dual-threat QB has rushed and thrown for around 700 yards respectively, and thrown for 10 touchdowns on the season. The quarterback has drawn interest from Alabama A&M and the University of South Florida. The team will wrap their season against Palaca this Friday and Suwannee next week. Head coach Jamie Rogers says this is their redemption year after falling short in 2022.
Every game's important. Every game's not the district championship game. Every game's not the state championship game, but they are important for seeding and rankings and all those kind of things. Where you're at the end of the year in week 11 makes a huge deal. If you get to play at home during the playoffs, your chances are better.
The Bradford County Tornadoes are just one of the many aerial programs that we'll highlight under the Friday Night Lights. That includes Buchholz, Hawthorne, Vanguard, and Dunedin High School's path to a possible state championship. Join us right here on WFT Thursday, November 9th at 8:30 for North Central Florida's high school playoff preview. Reporting in the studio, Alexis Vivanco, WFT News.
That's all for sports. I'm Reighan Sheppard.
Thanks, Reighan. Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Recapping those weather headlines, we have a rain-free week except for a little spot shower this evening. We're clear for football this weekend in Jacksonville, and you are in for a treat this Halloween. Jumping to that 7-day outlook, we're going to be peaking on Sunday around 87 degrees, but look at that big drop down to Wednesday, 74 degrees and 55 for your lows.
Thanks, Daniela. That's all the time we have for tonight. Have a good night.